Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? So good to be with you. I am so super happy to be with you on this Friday morning. Hopefully you all are, you're doing what you need to do. You probably got yourself, getting ready to go to bed, or you may be in bed because, there's work, there's life to go on, there's things to be done, and we all have to do them right. We have to do them. So I'm just so happy that I get to spend a little time with you guys. I'm super, super psyched. There's so much, I've been looking forward, today is Friday, September the 17th, and I just want to talk about stuff that makes me happy. I have this little issue. It's not a big issue, but it's a little issue. But it's a big issue. Just want to share about my love life. Not much is going on. Just that I just want to talk about how do you move forward. Maybe you all have some suggestions or maybe you've gone through this before. How you move forward. I met the guy of I've never felt like this before. And a year ago, actually 2 years ago, matter of fact, coming up on 2 years, I met the guy of my dreams. I met him at CVS. I'm just telling you the story, how it goes. I was coming into the rooms of recovery. I'm just going to be completely honest. And it was actually my first day, or a week. I had been in recovery for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And no 2 weeks. And my sponsor that I had just got, beautiful gay black man that I just asked to be my sponsor, asked me if I wanted to go to Washington because one of his good friends was celebrating her birthday. And at first I said no, because of anxiety and all that. And then Saturday, I called him and said, no, yeah, I changed my mind. And so I went. I changed my mind and I went. So I had to meet him at 125th and Lenox or whatever, right where the train stopped. So I got off the train and I wanted to get some snacks. It was just going to be about a 5-hour drive from New York to Washington or something like that. So I decided I wanted to get some snacks. So I go into the CVS. And as I'm going to the CVS, I'm going to get my stuff. And then I see this black guy. I didn't see his body. It was wintertime. It was, the tail end of winter. And we looked at each other. I caught his eyes. We caught eyes. And I don't know, it was something that I saw. And I just went, oh my God, I'm going to marry that man. And so so I got my stuff. And I stood in front of the CVS and he walked past the CVS to dump something in the trash. And he turned back around and walked. And I remember just looking at him like, oh my God, that's my husband. But I was just in my head. And I really think I'm never going to see this guy again. And I was kind of shocked. But all of a sudden I was talking about marriage. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So I got my sponsor. My sponsor came and told me where it was. Actually, right in front of the CVS. So I got into his car, and he said, we're going to meet some other people. And he had to pick up someone else, and it's like there was 3 other cars we're going to be following. I was like, okay, that's cool. So we get to then the house of the person who I didn't know at that time who's actually my grand sponsor. But I didn't know that at the time. So we get in the house, and I stayed in the car. And we stayed in the car. All of a sudden, these beautiful black men start coming down the stairs. And all of a sudden, I noticed, oh my God, that's the guy I saw at CVS. I'm like, what? So he comes in, he sticks his head in the window, and he said, introduce himself. Hi, I'm so-and-so, Derek. And I just remember, this time he didn't have the hat and the the hoodie on or whatever. He didn't have any of that. You could see his face. He had the most beautiful smile. And I just remember looking at him. I couldn't even speak. And I was just like, oh my God, I need to know who that is. So I kept, the whole time driving, I was just looking in the car because he was in front of us, thinking, okay, I have to figure out, to conversate with him, just to get something. So when we stopped to get gas, he happened to get out. Now, I got out, and he happened to get out too. We were in different cars. And so I took that opportunity just to chat, introduce myself. And I did, and we talked a little bit. I had this beautiful Southern accent. And I was just already smitten. I don't know what it was. I was just completely smitten. I mean, he's a nice looking guy. He is a nice looking guy. So I had to make sure, I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't. And I just found it really funny that I had this love at first sight kind of thing. And it kind of threw me off because I said, wait a minute, I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know who he was. Yeah. So it kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't believe in coincidences, so I don't know. This is kind of crazy. But I just knew that I wanted to talk to the guy. So, of course, we had a little moment. We chatted, and we got back into our separate cars. And the whole time I was just thinking about him, and my heart was racing. And so we got to the Washington. I was able to talk to him a little bit, not much, just a little bit. Then after we did the birthday celebration, which was a beautiful birthday celebration, the person was getting like 15, 20 years or something. It was a lot of years. And it's just nice. And so after that, we went out to dinner. And that's when we really got to talk after dinner. And it was done. We spoke a lot longer. Yes, and I was just completely like, I'm going to marry him. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I don't know why I'm thinking about that. I've never in my life even put that in my mind. And I don't know. So after that, I just remember us talking while we were waiting on the cars. And I kept thinking, I need to stay in contact with him. I don't know what, why, how. I just need to stay in contact. But at the same time, you just had this sense. I had this sense when I was talking to him, just listening to him. Like I had this sense that I knew him. And what I mean by that I had this sense that, we're both in recovery. And I know everybody has a history. Everybody in recovery has a story with a lot of pain, and people have done a lot of things that they may be ashamed of, and all that stuff. And something about him, I was just like, I don't care what he's done. I will be all right with it. I have no judgment. I'm going to love him no matter what, unconditionally. I just had, I don't know. I don't know why, because she's like, I don't know, it was something that I just was like, no, whatever. And it felt like I had this angel in my voice telling me, just take your time, get to know him. And so we exchanged numbers. And I just wanted to be positive around him. So I would, like, every week, maybe a couple of times a week, I would just send him messages about, hang in there. Just, you're worthy, and all this is wonderful stuff. And it was helping me too. In the process of me sending out stuff to him, it was actually helping me to stay focused, to stay on the course. I had this voice telling me, in order for this to work, you have to make sure that you're prepared. You're at a place of strength and non-judgment and love. If this is part of your journey, if he's going to be part, I was looking at it as a relationship, being in a healthy relationship. So everything kept telling me that was passing through me was God telling me, well, you have to take this journey too. You have to make sure you are the light. Be positive. Don't be judgmental. And it worked for me because even in the rooms of narcotics, I remember the first time I went into get because I had 7 years. I remember the first time I was very judgmental, and this and that, people and myself and all that. And this time in the rooms, because of him, I had made a commitment that I was not going to judge people in the room or they, this and that, and I wasn't going to, I just wasn't going to judge the process or hear people's stories and be like, ooh, I'm not, none of that happened because I was like, no, I'm just going to unconditionally, and this unconditionally can only be for this guy that I believe that I'm in love with for the moment I saw him. It has to be unconditionally for everyone. So if you're going to walk that walk it for everyone. So it actually helped me to stay in recovery and not focus on other people or judge other people or be negative. Not even in my head. Not even in my head. Not even in my head. Judge anybody in the rooms or characters or how people acted. I had no judgment. I was open-mindedness. The program teaches you. And so I would just send him, messages about staying, that he's worthy and, this and that. But and it's unlike me to be so, but it was like, and it was just like I would think about him. Or I would go to bed, I would pray. And then in the morning I would wake up with this beautiful message that I felt like was coming from God. But it was also helping me to be focused and stay the course with recovery and do what I need to do. And so he did relapse, which I just wanted to be there for him. And so I kept texting him, even when I heard that, I kept texting him, letting him know he wasn't alone. And it was, it was working, it was helping me too. Because I just wanted to be, be a positive and a force as positive as I can. It was also helping me stay positive because I can get pretty dark and pretty self-defecating about myself. But he was helping me to stay in the light and to stay in the process. So he came back into the room, and I never missed a beat. We constantly text. I'm a texter, and I have my own madness about talking to people because I'm one of those people who, if I feel like I'm hearing a different tone or my perception that you're not exciting, then I start thinking I'm wasting your time. And when someone sends me a text, I read text as a blank statement. Like I don't put feelings into text. So if someone was insulting me or making me I wouldn't, in a text, I wouldn't pick because I just read them as words, not all the quotations and all that. Unlike if I'm talking to someone that I have all this, I hear like I'm hearing with their feelings in their voice, in their tone. I'm listening to tone. Are they happy to hear me? Are they bored? Am I annoying them? And then my perception is so off. So it makes me text everyone. And I get nervous even with friends where I have to talk to them. So anyway, I stayed in contact, not because I liked him. And I had to remind myself that because I wanted to. And it was helping me. So we started talking, and then I had found some news out about my birth parents. That the dad I thought was my dad was not my dad, but my uncle was my dad, which kind of threw me for a loop. And I made contact with my family after about 30 years of not talking to anyone or seeing anyone. That's another story. And I wanted someone to go down that I liked hanging around with, that I also wanted to get to know better. Plus, it's like, we had